talk VA loans, and
On location,
I know I couldn't think of a more perfect spot than the Naval Academy.
right? It's a beautiful
Because
day.
we got the Blue Angels behind us. We're here at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Gorgeous day. Supposed to be raining. I was a little nervous, but Mother Nature decided to behave.
It's absolutely gorgeous for October.
All right, so let's talk VA loans.
Okay, perfect.
First of all, who can get a VA loan?
Right.
Yeah.
So anybody who is serving in the military or has served active duty,
Okay.
or they're retired, depending on what branch you're in, depending on whether you are reserves or whatever your classification, you are eligible depending on the time frame. If you served in active duty in a conflict, there's a whole different classification for that.
Ah.
So best way is to call someone like myself. We can research it for you based on either a DD-214 or the number of years you're actually in.
But all right, so the certificate of eligibility, is that something they
correct.
have to get, or is that something you can get for them?
So if you are discharged and you are
Yeah.
retired, you'll have a certificate of eligibility processed.
Okay.
That certificate of eligibility will tell us whether or not you have disability, whether or not you are eligible for a VA loan, and we can pull it very simply. If we can't,
Yeah.
we still can pull it for you. If it doesn't come back right away, it's seconds. It's a button,
Okay.
and you're good.
Oh.
We request DD-214s from you, whether
Yeah.
you have 1 or 5, and that process, we can research it, and it comes back usually within a week.
So it's not like, I remember when I first started, something like 30 days in some places to
No.
get, or at least that's what we were told.
Most people
Yeah.
think they have to pull it themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, I'm going to get it for you, then I'll call you back. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, once we do an application, there's a VA portal which we can go into and pull that certificate for our file.
So it's just click, click, done.
Done.
Awesome.
Yep, very easy.
Super easy. So can a spouse use a VA loan?
So a spouse can be on a VA loan with a veteran. If the veteran is deceased, there is a possibility that spouse has the ability to use his VA entitlement or eligibility to purchase a home later on.
Nice, but not a divorced spouse.
Not a divorced spouse, no. Sorry.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Yeah. Well, that stinks.
I know. So disability is one thing that does not carry over.
Okay.
But if they actually pass away, there's a chance that the spouse can use their eligibility.
And if they're 100% disabled, they don't have to pay property taxes.
Correct. So you are actually exempt from paying property taxes in the county. So if you buy a house, once you buy it, you actually have to go to the county. The counties are the ones that are a little different on this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things out there and you'll read and go, oh no, you don't have to worry about it. It's waived from the very beginning. You actually have to buy, and this is in Maryland, a lot of counties, you have to buy the house, get it put in your name, and then go back to the county with your paperwork to have it removed.
Okay. So it's not an automatic process.
It's not an automatic. You don't go to closing and there's no taxes. You actually get qualified based on the taxes, everything else, and then have it removed, later on, which we help people with all the time.
Awesome. And then what percentage of disability rating do you have to get your funding fee waived?
So as long as you have any rating of disability and it comes back, that COE will tell us whether or not you are exempt from a funding fee.
Nice, because that could save you a lot of money.
It saves you a lot of money, and honestly, it's a difference between doing some other loans versus a VA sometimes for some people. If you have disability, it's 100% financing, no VA funding fee on top.
All right, so with the funding fee, why do they have to pay that?
So anytime you finance greater than 80% of a loan, somebody has to back and guarantee that loan.
Okay.
So when you're doing a conventional financing, it's private entities, private businesses that insure it. When you do a USDA loan, it's U.S. Department of Agriculture. When you do an FHA loan, it's HUD. VA is the same thing. They don't charge you monthly mortgage insurance, but they have to have some sort of insurance in place in case you default, in case you don't pay your mortgage, walk away, whatever happens.
Gotcha.
That's why you're paying it.
So you're kind of doing a little insurance policy up front.
You are.
Yeah.
But just like a lot of others, you're rolling it in and financing it. It's not a fee that you have to pay cash.
Yes.
So it's actually rolled in on top of the loan at closing.
Nice. And this way, you're not bound by the 100%. You could go up to the 100+ funding fee.
Right, it'll just be added on top. So a lot of
Yeah.
times you'll see 102, 103, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Right.
Great. Now, a lot of my buyers, they always refer to the appraisal part as a VA inspection.
Okay.
Two completely different things.
It is.
The VA is not inspecting the property.
Right.
That's for the home inspector to do. The appraiser
Is ordered by us.
yes.
VA has a board of approved VA appraisers. There are normal appraisers that are in the market we're using anyway,
Uh-huh.
but it's just another step and another layer for them to get approved and get into the VA portal. So the portal is basically a system where we order all our VA information. When we order an appraisal, it's done through there, and it goes out to an approved VA appraiser.
And then they have a list of what they deem as risk.
Right.
That if they see those, they're going to flag it to say this has to be done.
And it's really not much different.
No.
I mean, there's nothing on a VA appraisal that they go, okay, we have to make sure of this. Or it's health and safety issues, common things that would be a problem on any other government appraisal.
The ones I've seen the most are no railing for 3 steps or more.
Yep.
And the roof that's like completely shot.
Yep.
Realistically,
pickets on the railing, stuff like that.
The other one that I've seen a lot of is the termite damage.
Right.
Yeah, but again, if we don't have a passing termite inspection, WDI, you're going to hear that phrase a lot,
Going to be a problem.
then it's a problem.
Correct.
Yes. So I know my ex and I used his VA on our house in Chesapeake Beach, and we refied 3 times.
Correct.
Is there anything that's more challenging under a VA loan to refinance versus a conventional one?
So VA makes it so simple. It's called an EARL. So you got 2.
Yeah.
You've got a VA refi,
Okay.
or you have an EARL. EARL is an interest rate reduction loan. Very
Okay.
simple. There's no income qualifying. There's no appraisal. There's no anything. You're basically making sure that they've made their payments on time for the transaction history, or as long as they've been in the house.
Oh.
Credit's good, and we make sure they're still employed.
Yeah.
And really, the rest you're going to the lowest rate. So it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's easy. When you do another VA, like a cash out, they call
Yeah.
them just cash outs. You do a normal appraisal or income qualifying. That's when you can remove or add a spouse, things like that. Let's say you get married after, and then you refi and you want them on the loan. We can do that.
Awesome.
So, but you can also take cash out, or whatever you're looking to do.
So you can do anything you want to do with a regular loan
Okay.
to refinance it,
It's no difference.
but you can actually do it easier under VA.
Yes.
Yes. Now, for a seller, is there anything that's riskier to accept a VA loan other than conventional FHA, USDA?
There's not.
Yeah.
There's a big misunderstanding that, oh, it's a VA loan, the appraisals are going to be harsher, we're not going to get value. That's not true.
No.
The appraisers are looking at the comps the same way they look at the comps for any other type of loan. It's just a VA appraisal. Yes, they are there to protect the veteran. That's what they're there for. That's their job.
Yeah.
The problem with it is there's no going back and adjusting or arguing the fact of an appraisal. VA is very tough for that. If the appraiser comes in and this is the value, that's the only problem. But really,
Yeah. It's like during COVID, I was able to argue a couple and did win.
Yep,
Because
it can be done.
Well, in one case, we were in a water privileged neighborhood, and he was comparing non-water privileged neighborhoods.
Okay.
So once we adjusted for that, we were there. Another time, the buyer had to decide: do you want the house and we renegotiate, or do you lose it over this?
Right.
And the same thing with the seller. You have to decide: how badly do you want to sell your house?
Right.
And get to settlement now, or do you want to throw it back on the market and hope for something?
So the other
Same.
big thing that's changed is it used to be where a VA appraisal would stay with the house,
Yeah.
and you couldn't order a new one. Now you order it. So let's say one falls through, appraisal was done.
Yeah.
That appraisal's there. but new buyer comes in, they're ordering a whole brand new appraisal.
That's actually better
It is better.
because,
Markets change.
well, and not only that, but the appraisers do see our contracts.
Yep.
They know the terms of it. So now they have to, they're basically, and I know I'm going to irritate some appraisers, just, they basically make sure our contract is justifiable.
Right.
That the buyer's not overpaying for the property.
And that's their job, is to
Yeah.
protect. That's to protect the veteran side of
Yeah.
it. You know.
It is. Is there anything else that would be special about using a VA loan that people need to know about?
So there is options to put people on there that are not when you're not married.
Oh, that changed.
So let's say you have a parent,
Yeah.
or let's say you're married but your wife is a veteran as well.
Uh-huh.
Disability or whoever's first on the loan, we use their eligibility.
Okay.
So let's say you have a house in California,
Uh-huh.
you're moving here, well, you can do another VA loan and just put the wife's eligibility and buy the house here. So you can also use your VA twice, depending on how much eligibility you have. So let's say you're moving from Virginia Beach up here,
Uh-huh.
you want to buy another house, but really don't want to sell that one yet.
Okay.
There is the option to use your VA eligibility again, up to a certain level, depending on the county you're buying in, which is huge. A lot of people don't know that.
So does that limit exist if you only have one VA loan?
As far as,
I know when we were buying before,
yeah,
that we were told the max amount for Calvert was this,
yes,
and the max for Anne Arundel was this, and the max for Charles and St. Mary's was this.
correct.
So-
Everything's based on the loan limit in that county you're buying
Mm-hmm.
and how much of your eligibility has been used on the other house. And
Yeah.
that comes back on the certificate of eligibility when we pull it.
Okay.
It tells us how much entitlement, which is their buying power, is used up, and that goes into our calculation to determine how much house they can buy in that county and finance 100% of it.
And if they don't have any VA loans at all, is there still the limit in place?
They're county by county.
Okay.
Yep.
So just work with a loan officer who knows what they're talking about.
Correct. So there's still VA, there's still VA jumbo.
Awesome.
Yeah. But limits, I mean, Calvert County is $1 million.
We'd say 95% of Calvert is under $1 million.
A lot of it. A lot
Yeah.
of it.
I mean, unless you're waterfront or one of these super big houses on lots of acreage.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
a great loan option, especially for our veterans, especially for those who have served and done their duty. You know, for us, I mean, we do a ton of them, being close to Pax River, being close to Anne Arundel, being close to Andrews. You're kind of in
Yeah.
that triangle. We see a lot of loans come through that are VA.
And don't forget, we have Coast Guard headquarters. Their people
Correct.
live to Calvert and Anne Arundel, and also Charles, because it's a very easy commute to
It is.
headquarters.
There's a lot of people in Calvert that drive
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
And once people see where their money goes in Virginia, they hardly ever look over there. They look in Maryland.
Right.
It's like you can get this in Virginia or this in Maryland.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
I like it. So if you've had any questions, if anybody out there has questions about a VA loan or a house,
Yep.
and qualifying for VA, everything else,
Yeah.
give one of us a call.
And you are amazing with VA loans. And I got to tell you guys, 21 years as a military spouse. So
Yeah.
when we moved here, it was our 4th house in 11 years.
Yeah.
So what I've learned through the School of Hard Knocks and professional. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Bye.
Day, month, year.